Hi, it's Chris. Today's video is going to be an 18-minute total body stretch. This is best to do this workout either as a standalone video or right after another video as opposed to before another video, because sometimes doing static stretching could interfere with strength gains. So that's why the research has shown to do static stretching after a workout, if you can do that. We're going to be holding each pose for 1 minute, and it should definitely relax and stretch out any achy sore muscles that you might have. If you like this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up and possibly even subscribing to my page if you haven't already. And also, if you'd like to leave me any comments, I'd love to check out your comments that you have and let me know what you think. And also, please let me know if there's any other videos that you'd like to see me do.
Our first stretch is called a doorway stretch. You can either use a doorway or some sort of wall in your house or some sturdy object that you just want to put your palm against and lean towards the opposite direction. This is really going to stretch out your chest and your shoulder. So make sure your shoulders are down when you're doing this. You don't want to raise them to your ears. And you can kind of adjust what you do with your head. You can kind of look from side to side and see where you feel that biggest stretch in your chest. And we're going to hold each stretch for 1 full minute. All right, switch to the other side, and again, place your palm against the wall or pole or object, sturdy object, and take a step back so you feel that right in your chest. That's opening up your pectoral muscles. If you see that big white blob at the left of your screen, that is what we just discovered yesterday. My son apparently quite a long time ago with his friends got a hole in the wall and fixed it themselves and put a poster over it, and it wasn't until we took the poster down that we found it. So just wanted to share that story with you. Our next stretch is a shoulder stretch, so we're going to sit on our mat and we're going to take our left arm and put it across our body, and with our right arm pull it even closer to yourself. An alternative pose for your arm is to kind of hold it up like you're almost doing a bicep curl. Some people find that they like the feeling of that stretch better, so just kind of play around with your arm movements. I like it better this way personally. All right, switch sides, and we're gonna hold it for a nice minute. Focus on your breathing. All right, we're going to take both of our hands and try to hold them together behind our back. And we're really stretching out our chest and our shoulders when we do this. If doing this pose is difficult for you, you can take a towel or even a t-shirt and hold it in your hands so your hands aren't as close together. That just makes it a little easier if you do not have the flexibility in your shoulders. I went to physical therapy for golfer's elbow, and one thing that they really said was that I needed to work on stretching out my chest and shoulders a lot more. So that's why I'm really sharing these with you. Our next move is child's pose. So sometimes with child's pose you focus on stretching your hips. What I really want you to focus on is stretching your back. So you might even want to cross one hand over the other, and then you'll feel it on the one side of your back just a little bit more. And then you can switch halfway through, which I'll tell you when to switch it in just coming up in just a second. But really focus on stretching down that one side of your upper back. All right, switch sides. Feel that stretch. All right, our next one, we're going to go into a cobra stretch. So you can either do this on your elbows if you feel like that's a good enough stretch for your lower back. You can just stay there, or you can go onto your hands. So another thing you could do is like a yoga downward dog pose where you actually lift your legs right off the mat. What you want to be sure of when you're doing this is that your shoulders are not up towards your ears. You want your shoulders to be down, kind of depressed, and even back just slightly. All right, our next stretch is going to be a hip flexor stretch. So put that left leg forward, and we're down on our right knee, and you're going to feel that in your right hip flexor. If this is too much of a stretch, or if you have bad knees, you can do this standing, just like I'm doing right here. You don't feel it quite as much as doing it down on your knee. So you can just kind of play around with that and see how it feels best for you. But this is one of my all-time favorite stretches. All right, go ahead and switch sides. So your right leg is forward and your left leg is back, and you're going to be feeling this in your left hip flexor. And again, you can go down on your knees, or you can go up on your feet like I showed you earlier. All right, we're gonna do a butterfly stretch or an inner thigh stretch. So you put the bottoms of your feet together. What I want you to do, instead of thinking like getting your nose to your toes, I want you to think about going outward as opposed to downward with your head. All right, we're gonna sit in the straddle position and put our hands in between. And again, it's the same thing with the inner thigh stretch. I want you to think about going outward. So see how far out you can go as opposed to how far down you can go. So you're not looking to get your nose to the ground. That's not the goal here. It's just see if you can kind of inch your fingers a little bit farther forward while still keeping your head up. So to stretch your hamstrings, I want you to bend your right knee and kind of lean over towards your left foot. And I think it's a better stretch if you flex your foot in towards you. And again, you don't want to necessarily, your goal is not to bring your nose to your knee. It's just to try to see how far out you can go with a nice flat back. All right, bend your left knee and lean over towards your right foot. Again, flex that foot. You can even try, if you can, to lift your heel off the ground just a little bit. That's a little bit more advanced, but you'll feel a little more of a stretch in your calf when you do that. All right, we're going onto our back for a hip stretch. So bend that left leg and our right leg goes straight, and you put your hands either behind your thigh or bend your leg and put it over like your knee area. I feel a better stretch when I bend my knee, so that's what I typically do, but you can play around with the position and see where it feels most comfortable and where you get the better stretch for you. You should really be feeling this in your left hip. All right, switch sides. So you're gonna bend that right leg and either put your hands behind your left hamstring or bend your leg and put them around your left knee area, and kind of pull it in a little closer to you so that you feel that stretch in your right hip. All right, we're gonna do a quadricep stretch. So I like to go over to a wall when I do these because my balance isn't the greatest. And you can hold your left foot in your left hand, or you can hold it in your right hand, whichever way feels most comfortable for you. But I do want it to be straight up and down. And I want your upper leg to also be straight up and down. I don't want it like leaning back or leaning forward or leaning out to the side even. So I want that in a nice straight line. That's where you're going to get the best stretch in your quadricep. All right, switch sides and take your right foot in your right hand, and again, you want a nice straight line with your upper leg. Your lower leg might not be right up against your butt like mine is. My legs are pretty flexible, but just get it as close to it as you can while staying in that upright position. Our last stretch of the day is going to be a downward dog calf stretch. So what I want you to do is kind of pedal out your feet. So one heel touches the ground and then the other one touches the ground. That's going to really stretch your calves out, which is a really important muscle group to stretch. You might want to play around with how close your feet are to your hands. Just see where it feels most comfortable for you and where you get the best stretch. It might be a little closer together and it might be a little farther apart. All right, your stretch is done. You completed it. I hope you guys feel great, and I pray that you have a blessed day.